Hello, everyone. Is anybody there? I hope someone is there, and we're going to start. Like we said, we don't want to use a lot of time. We don't want to get all your time on here. So we want to be a little more time conscious so we can do this and get done with. So knock knock, who's there? You make all things beautiful in your time. Lord, please show me every day as you're teaching me your ways, that you do just what you say in your time. In your time, yes, in your time, in your time, you make all things beautiful in your time. Lord, my life to you I bring. Let the song I love to sing be to you a lovely thing in your time. I love a lot of natural, so I'm sure sometimes people put some music on the background and then wait for people to come, but I like to do it myself, so that's why I'm singing. When you come on, don't freak out. Don't think it's a music something. No. I'm just singing so anybody who starts up can enjoy good music before we start their session this evening. Okay? I love you. I love you. I love you, Lord, today. Because you care for me in such a special way. And yes, I praise you. I lift you high. I magnify your name. Hey, that's why my heart is filled with praise. Oh, yeah. Okay, so who's there? Knock knock. Let's see the highs. Let's see the hellos. Let's get to know you're there so we can start up. We don't want to be waiting for late people. So when late people come, they're going to be like, whoa, we're done already. And then the next session, they're going to come early. My dad used to say this. He wishes that for events where they have to eat, he would prefer that they should eat at the beginning so that the message or whatever is coming should come at the end. So when people come, they would actually attend the message part, because a lot of people get to program themselves and just wait. When the message is done or the important part of the event is done, they just come for the eating part. I like my dad's idea, don't you? But then eating is going to disrupt every place. That's why. So when people are done eating, some people might just start going. They might not even wait for the message. Some people might be super exhausted and they'll just think it's the end of the program, So, well, we just have to manage. But the thing is, we should still be time conscious, right? I guess we still need to be time conscious. Okay, so there is something I want to say here. The topic for today is don't start what you can't finish. Okay, but before I go there, I want to say this. You might have watched a few of the tips I've given on my Facebook channel, on my YouTube channel, Instagram, all my social media handles. I've been giving tips on how I got out of depression, and you might have watched some of them and then you feel like, oh yeah, this is working for me. You're using it, you're doing it, and it's working for you. And then you're like, okay, so this is what happens. There are two ways in which depression gets treated. Some people really need to take medications. And some people might not really need the medications. They might just need these practical steps to get them out of it. I didn't take no medications for it. I just did these practical steps and I got out. So if you're the person who is taking those medications, I'm by no means This is a disclaimer. I'm by no means telling you to stop taking your medications when your medical practitioner did not tell you to stop. You know, let me put it this way. Let me bring the scenario clearly. Okay, when I used to be younger, I used to do it a lot. So let me use myself as an example. I don't know about people that if you've been doing it as well, maybe you can just hit me up on the comment section and say, you're not in this alone, princess. I used to do this when I was younger. Say, for instance, so there's this malaria. Yes. So there's malaria treatment, and that runs for, I think, sometimes for about a week or more. Then when you're feeling really feverish, they get to give you those drugs and they tell you, okay, you have to take maybe one morning, one afternoon, one evening for like 7 days or so. That's a week. The possibilities that I take that for Monday, Tuesday, or for 2 days, let me just put it that way, and I feel better and I stop taking the drug is like almost 100%. Yeah, I don't go through with the prescription that was given to me because I just feel like I'm feeling better. So why should I go through with this? So this is a disclaimer. Don't get two of those tips and then it's working for you, and then you stop taking probably your medications that you were taking, or you stop every other procedure you were following because maybe 1 or 2 tips that you've listened or you've watched, they've helped you and you're feeling better. That you're feeling better doesn't mean that you're fine. So take the full prescription. Take the full prescription. I insist, especially those who are on medication. If you're actually being clinically proven depressed and all that, and you've been given medications to take, please, for the love of God, I beg of you, go ahead and take your medications till the end, the full prescription. If you feel better after 2 days, doesn't mean you're okay. The doctors know exactly why they told you to take the prescriptions for the length of time you're taking. Let your medical practitioner tell you stop, okay? So yes, so we can go on now. I feel a little bit relieved. Okay, so let's go on. Our topic for today, don't start what you can't finish. I don't know if someone out there has had something they started and they couldn't finish it. Not because they didn't want to, not because they didn't have the powers to, but it just so happened they couldn't finish it. I don't know if there's someone out there. Just give me a hi, hello, and I'll get to greet you. I'll give you a shout out, and then we're going to go on. So, like I said, I want this to be quick today, so I'm already about to start. I can see some people coming on, but I can't see who is on, so I can get to say hello to you. I'd love to say hello to you personally and really be excited that you're here today. So I already made that disclaimer. I'm sure those who are coming in, they would eventually watch it again from the beginning and then get to understand what I was talking about when it comes to people who are taking medications to get out of depression. Get through with your prescription from start to end. Please let your medical practitioner, the one taking care of you, tell you stop, okay? Let 1 or 2 tips not make you feel better, and then you say, oh, I'm done and dusted, and then you get off. No, please don't do that. I beg you. I beg of you. Okay? So yeah, don't start what you can finish. Okay, Sefako Book says his life. Okay, I hope I'm actually doing that right. Welcome on board. Our topic for today, don't start what you can't finish. This is one other way to be able to keep away from depression. On my YouTube channel, I'm actually doing tips on how to get out of depression. So you're already depressed and you want to get out, so you can use those tips. And here we're giving the tips on how not to even get into depression, okay? Because these tips are also important. There are people who are not depressed and we don't want them to get depressed eventually. So they need to use these tips. This is like the 4th tip we're talking about today. And like I said, it's official. every Thursday. The only thing might be a time change. Some days it might be 7 p.m. Some days it might be 8 p.m. Central African time or West African time, whichever you want. So that's what is going to happen. So it's official. Every Thursday we have something on here on this series, how to keep away from depression, until our tips are finished. So let's go on. Do not start what you can finish. Okay, so our example from the onset has been sex, so we're going to go with that as well on this one too. And someone is going to be like, okay, what does Princess want to say right now? Okay, and there I'm going to go with my tenets as well. So I have the Bible is my standard. That's what I believe in. So I hold on to a lot of things that the Bible says, because they've been working for me, they've been working for a lot of people, and they'll keep working for a lot more people who believe in it and stand by it. So this is what it says. Marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled. So premarital sex is wrong. Then how do I say don't start what you cannot finish? Okay, so the tendency is, when we're in a relationship, we are attracted to each other physically, emotionally, psychologically, and otherwise. So don't think, let nobody deceive you that when you get into a relationship, because you're a child of God, you become born again, your sexual urges are going to just disappear. That's a lie. Total and complete lie. You're a sexual being. That's how you are created. So you're going to feel those cravings. You're going to get all those desires. The truth is, a lady, when she's on her period, she feels like she wants to have sex. So it's normal. You're going to feel those things because they're normal. A guy, when he wakes up very early in the morning, he has those urges. He feels like he wants to have sex. So it's normal. So it's not like when they tell you don't have sex before marriage, it means that as at that point up until you get married, that's when you're going to feel like, yes, you want to have sex now. It's just going to automatically happen. Like you want to feel like it. No. You're going to get those feelings from when you get matured till when you get married. So spirituality only gets you disciplined. That's all that it does. Okay, so this is my point. And people are going to start things like, well, there's no kissing in the Bible, so can we try that? It's just a kiss. We're not going to go further. No, it's just going to end at kissing. Okay. And then you go like, well, okay. If he says so, if she says so, it's just going to end there. Okay. And then you start on. And then later on, you want to go to a little bit of romance, smooching, touching of body parts, sensual parts and all that. And then it's getting you all hormonal. You know why it gets you hormonal? It's normal. So there's this particular hormone that gets secreted when you're in that kind of mood, when you're in that kind of environment. You get hormonal, when you get that feeling, is because these particular hormones, they're called oxytocin. Oxytocin. You can actually get to search that. Okay, Surgeon Duke says he's also on and he's watching. Okay. I don't know if he wants to go live. If he wants to go live, just say, yes, I want to go live. So I'm going to bring you on live so you can also say what you have to say. I'll be very, very delighted to have someone live today. So you tell us your own point of view and what you think. But this is what I'm saying. So you go like, okay, let's just go. It's just a kiss. Let's just go. It's just smooching and all. The truth is, these hormones start getting triggered. They start getting secreted in your system, and they want to be satisfied. They want to be satisfied. And so whatever you do, when you do one thing, the hormones get secreted some more and some more and some more. And when it's increasing, you would want to do the next exciting thing to satisfy that desire. And that's why someone is just going to start with kissing, and then by the time you want to notice, in a week you're going to smooching and touching and romance and all that. And by the time you know it, bam, it's sex. You're done and dusted. And you're like, how did this happen? How did we get here? Okay. So my don't start what you cannot finish is, if you're not ready for sex, don't start the kissing. Don't start the smooching. Don't go there. And someone said, then followed by coitus interruptus. That's a big biology term. Surgeon Duke, break it down for us. You know, that's what gets to happen. So don't start it. I'll still go again by the Bible. The scripture says that flee the appearance of evil. It appears like it. That environment, you know, some of my friends say I'm very carnal, like, why would I be thinking that way? Why would I be doing this way? So if I tell someone that I'm in a relationship with and I go like, I can't go in a secluded place with you, okay? Because it's going to get me hormonal. And the person is like, what do you mean? It means you don't trust me. Hello, people. It's not about them. It's way past being about them. It's about me. I know exactly how I feel. I know exactly what happens to my body system when I'm in that kind of environment. More so with somebody that I like, somebody that I have a thing for, somebody that I'm in love with. It's just normal. So why am I going to put myself in a situation where I'll be struggling to control my hormones when I could just avoid getting into that place at all? Don't start what you can't finish. Why would I carry myself to this environment that I know is going to get me hormonal? It's going to get to trigger those things on the inside of me that to control is not so easy. Why would I get there? No, don't start what you can't finish. If you want to keep away from depression, don't start what you can't finish. And that brings me back to setting your standards. Because if you set your standards right, you're going to ask the guy right questions. You're not going to assume. What's your take on sex before marriage? Are you okay with it? What's your take on romance before marriage? Are you okay with it? If the person is not okay with it, then you don't have any reason being in that relationship in the first place. Yes, sometimes it hurts, but that's the truth. You need to know that. And when you know that you're not going to be in that relationship and then you start getting worked up, but why is he asking for sex all the time? Why does he want sex all the time? You know, come on. If you had standards, you said it straight, there were boundaries, the person was not going to cross those boundaries. Oh yes, maybe you set those boundaries and you started bending them or breaking them. That's why he sees that there is a possibility of you getting there. Well, if you could just start kissing, it's okay to just go smooching then. And later on, of course, kissing and smooching will become normal, so sex is the next best thing. And then they want sex. And then the consequences. Yes, you get pregnant. You're not ready for the child. It leads you to another thing. You might want to commit abortion to cover up. You might get yourself killed in the process. And all those so many things that get to happen. The truth is, we know the consequences of most of the things we want to do before we do them. We know the possibilities of the kinds of things that can happen before we even get to start doing them. So before you want to start something that you know you're not going to finish, think about the consequences. Think about the possibilities. Think about you ending up with an STD or an STI or ending up pregnant, especially for ladies. Yeah, sometimes they go like, oh, you have to prove your love for me. You have to prove your love for me. So it's sex. If sex was love, come on, prostitutes, all of them should be married because they give a lot of sex. It's not proof of love. Let no man deceive you. It is not. So when I'm talking here about prostitutes, I'm talking about male and female. It's not only female, male and female. If that was actually proof of love, then they'll all be married by now. They won't just stay in prostitution because they give a lot of sex. Yes. So do not start what You can't finish. What is the appearance of sex? Me being in a cozy, soft, sweet environment with a guy that I'm in love with, just two of us. You know the fun part about this? Sometimes when I say, guys tell me this is what they say to me. I like to give myself as an example because it's real, it's practical. That's what we're on here for, to be real with ourselves so we get this thing straight and we get to work on ourselves. So this is what I say to someone. And I can be in a secluded environment with you because I know it's going to trigger my hormones. I love you, so of course, I'll definitely be sexually attracted to you. It's normal. It's not abnormal. It's normal. If you're in love with someone, there's going to be sexual attraction, there's going to be emotional attraction, and all the other attractions that can get to be. Especially if it's an erotic relationship. If it's a relationship where you both are planning to get married eventually, it's a serious relationship, that is going to be there. But then you need to control yourself. You need to be disciplined, right? So this is what I say. I don't want to be in a secluded environment with you and then they're going to be like, why are you saying that? Don't you trust me? Don't you think I'm disciplined? Hello. So let me bring it back to why it's about me. It's about you, the individual. You think about it this way. This is how I put it. Okay? You are disciplined. Beautiful. I like that. So what if we get to that environment and I get hormonal? And I want this. I want this to happen. And you say no because you're very disciplined. That's the guy. You say no because you're very disciplined. That's rejection. Does anybody like rejection? I don't think so. I don't like rejection. I don't think you do. So because I don't want to be rejected, I'm not going to go there. Then what about the case where you are not disciplined and I am not disciplined? Something is eventually going to happen. So yes, see the signs. Know what works for you. Let nobody manipulate you. Sometimes all these things are emotional manipulations. People are going to say things like, oh no, if you really, really love me. Or if you love respects people's values. So if he really loves you as well, he's going to respect your values and your stance. Yeah. Someone is going to say, what if the guy tells you, oh, there's no, my stand is also no sex before marriage. And then at some point he gets to that. Stick to what you said from the start. Stick to it. If he doesn't want it, bye-bye. Nobody's saying it's going to be easy. Nobody is saying it's going to be easy. Welcome, Sir Silas, Hard Talk Amberland. Welcome, Sir Gift Milton. So who is doing Don't Start What You Can Finish? Has someone done something that they started and they couldn't finish it? So yes, in a lot of cases, I started it. I was in this secluded environment with these guys and I was so hot, so hot. I couldn't help it. But then I didn't want sex too because I don't want to fail God and stuff like that. And then I'm fighting with the hormones. And so I got to learn that just stay away from that kind of environment at once already so you don't get into trouble. So who started something they didn't finish? I couldn't finish that and it wasn't good. So it starts hurting. You start hurting each other in the process because this person's mind is fixed on something that they want and you're showing them something else or you're acting something else because this guy is asking in his mind, so why is she here if she's not ready for this? I'm not condoning that if someone says no, you shouldn't stop. But why are you there? There are those possibilities when you get there. So he's like, maybe her yes is no and no is yes. So ladies, step up your game. If you're saying no, it should be no. If you're saying yes, it should be yes. Stop confusing the guys, please. And hey guys, we're stepping up our games. When we say no, we mean no. When we say yes, it's yes. So like we're saying, these are tips on how to keep away from depression because when you don't set those standards, when you don't set those values, when you start this kinds of stuff, you start getting depressed, because when you get to the point where you started the kissing and all that, and then you can't continue, you start feeling scared, you start feeling worked up, you start trying things in your head, and then the relationships start getting strained, you know? You start getting all this really crazy things happening to you. Yeah, I was in that kind of situation. I couldn't finish the things I started, and I got into a lot of trouble. So I got depressed. Yes. And so if you don't want to get into depression, if you want to keep away from it, don't start what you can't finish. Don't. Okay? Who else is there? Maybe someone can give us another idea of starting something you can't finish. It's not only for relationships, but here we're talking about tips on how to keep away from depression. So it works for relationships. It works for other things. Not only relationships like marriage. It works even for relationships with friends, with families. Don't start what you can't finish. It's also like, don't make a promise you can't keep. You get it? So I read something on social media just recently, and it really broke me to pieces. Like, there was this man, he was staying in the cold, and he had adapted to the cold. And then there was this rich man, he was just staying out of this rich man's house. And then one of the days, the rich man got out of his house and saw him, and I'm like, why are you in the cold? He's like, that's where he has always been. He doesn't have a place to stay, so he has been staying in the cold like that. And then the guy says, so how do you cope with the cold? He says, well, I've built my system. He has surely gotten used to it. So he has built his system to be able to address the cold and deal with the cold. So the rich guy was like, oh, no, don't worry. This is going to end today, okay? I'm going to bring you a jacket. And then he gets into his house. For some reason, he probably doesn't come back. Maybe he fought. Maybe something truly happened, like something really serious that made him not to bring the jacket out. And so this old man outside, actually after some few days, I can't remember how many days, he died. And before he died, he wrote a letter and kept on his side. So when the rich man came out of his house, he picked up the letter. He saw that the man had died. He was shocked. He came out with a jacket. He saw that the man had died, and then he saw the letter around. So he picked up the letter and he read it. He says, well, when you never made that promise, I had already gotten my resistance. I was immune. I could actually keep up with the cold and everything. I was used to the cold and I could live in it. But when you made a promise, I dumped my resistance and then stuck to your promise. God stuck to your promise. And that's why I died, waiting for the promise to be fulfilled, and I died. Oh, that was really heartbreaking. So this is what I said. Don't start what you can't finish. He started with a promise. He's going to bring a jacket. He never brought it. He took like forever to bring the jacket. And he got that man into serious trouble. When you start something and you can't finish it, it gets you into a lot of trouble, a whole lot of trouble. Okay, Sagif says, there is nothing to start anything that you cannot finish. As a matter of fact, don't even date, no barrier. Sagif, we're going to date because we can't just wake up and just get married. And if we eventually have to get married, we have to date. Or court, or whatever people call it. That's the name. But before we do that, we have standards. Every human being has a standard. Let me just ask a question, and someone should go ahead and answer if you can. If you're truly hungry today and you're about to, like, it's that kind of dead hunger, are you going to eat poop because you're hungry? I don't think so. I won't. I'd rather die than eat poop. So if I can discipline myself enough that I'm close to death and I'm not going to eat poop, I'd rather look for something that is food, something that I know is good for my system. I would have to discipline myself to wait for that. It's just the same thing. As per my standards, as per what I follow, I keep insisting all the time. The Bible, it says sex is allowed and legal for those who are married. So if I'm not married, I have nothing to be doing about sex. So that's a standard. The standards have to be there. And they're there for a reason. They're there for a reason. A very good reason. So imagine that I don't get to end up with just one guy and I keep having sex with all these guys. Like maybe I get to date like 15 guys. I kind of have soul ties with 15 guys, because sex is not just sex. It's way beyond that. It has spiritual and other things added to it. Mr. Apomar Boboskai says, what do we do if we've already gotten into something we now know we can't finish? You get up from there. That's what I'm saying. So there are going to be consequences when you start it and you can't finish it. There are now going to be difficulties because there's going to be a strain in the relationship. There's going to be consequences. Look at the story I was talking about. The man died. It could be that bad. The relationship might end. It could be that bad. The friend you made the promise to might not trust you anymore. It could be that bad. But what are the odds if you continue with the thing? So look at the consequences some more, even when you're in it, when you've already started. So if you've already started and you've gotten and you realize that you can't finish it, just get off. Just get off. That's the only thing you can do, to get off. Because you've realized already you can't finish it. So why are you in it still? The easy part is get off. So does anybody have another question? Does someone have another question, or someone has something they started and they couldn't finish? It's not only, like I said, it's not only for relationship. It has to do even with work, even with your career. Yeah, let all of us do science, and you can't even go halfway because that's not what you're even good at. But maybe all your friends are doing it. You started. Everybody is selling peanut butter. So because everybody is selling peanut butter, you don't even know how to do peanut butter. You started. You go buying the ingredients when you can't even make it. It doesn't make sense. Don't start what you can't finish so you don't get hurt. So you don't get depressed. Hey, you did this one. Okay, if you started the kissing, why did you start it? It's just this one. You already did this one, so did this one. Do this one for me. Welcome to Eric Jimmy 4. Better late than never. So we're still glad to have you. So it gets really, really crazy, and when you start it and you can't finish it, it really gets difficult. It's quite difficult when you've already started to get off, even when you can't finish. But if you realized already, you have to get off. That's the only way. I don't know if there's another option. Maybe someone can tell you another option or something. So like I was saying, you go doing what every other person is doing because every other person is doing it, not because you're sure you can do it, not because you're sure of what could get to happen, not because you're sure you have the abilities, you have all that it takes to do that thing. It's just because everybody is doing it. That everybody is doing it doesn't make it right. Yes, that's one thing we need to know. So don't start what you can't finish. Be it in your career, be it in your relationships, be it in whatever thing that concerns your life. Don't start things you can't finish. Trust me, I've been in a lot of groups, even on Facebook. Like almost everybody can get to do Facebook groups, Twitter groups, and all the groups that can be on all social media platforms. And some of them, the person who started the group just starts the group, adds people up, tell us the vision and everything, and disappear. Like, seriously? So who is supposed to run that vision? Don't start what you can't finish if you don't want to get depressed. You're going to get hurt. You're going to feel pains. You're going to feel bad. But trust me, like I said, if you've already started it and you realize in the middle you can't finish, stop. It's okay to stop. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. Failure is just learning how not to do something. I failed, right? I started what I couldn't finish, and that's why I'm here today, talking to someone out there. You never know. So it's okay to fail, but it's not okay to stay in failure. It's okay to fail, and then you stand up. You get back up. Dust yourself and get on again. Okay? So we're still on. Who is there? Let us know and give us your own ideas about not starting what you can't finish. Like I said, the relationship is going to get strained. When it has to do with relationship, it's going to get strained. Because the guy is going to be like, okay, you started this and now you don't want to do this. Just this little thing. Why are you doing this? So why did you start in the first place? When you said no, the no should stick till the end. But when you start bending and breaking, yes, I made rules. I had standards, but I was bending and breaking them. So it got me into serious trouble. So like I said, for the story I just gave where the man actually let go of his resistance and held on to the promise, one advice I'm going to give when it comes to that kind of story is when someone makes a promise to you, don't hold on to the promise. Keep on your resistance. Hold on to your resistance until the promise is fulfilled. Hold on to your resistance until the promise is fulfilled. That seems to be a topic for another day, but I don't know why I'm having the urge to say it. Hold on to your resistance. Don't drop it like the other man dropped it because he had held on to the promise. And for those making promises, please, for crying out loud, I learned this is my way of doing things. I'd rather surprise you than say I'm going to do something and I don't end up doing it. It's just similar to starting what you can't finish. Sometimes there could be a good enough reason why you can't finish it. Maybe I promised you I'm going to get you something, or I'm going to pull up an act for you maybe in like 5 days, and on the day I'm supposed to pull up this activity or this thing for you, I fall sick. That is reason enough. That is reason enough for me not to be able to fulfill that promise. So if you dropped your resistance and held on to the promise, you're going to feel hurt. You're going to feel heartbroken. You're going to feel like your trust has been shattered. So please, those receiving promises, don't give up on your resolve until the promise has been fulfilled. And those making promises, please, for the love of God, just surprise the person. If I know I can pull up that stunt or whatever it is that has to be in 5 days' time, I should just wait till 5 days' time and do it. I should just wait in 5 days' time and do it anyways. So that I don't put myself in trouble and put the person in trouble as well. Don't start what you can't finish. It's going to get you hurt. It's going to get you heartbroken. It's going to get you depressed. It got me there. So if you want to keep away from depression, when you set those standards, stick to them. From start till the end. If you know there's a standard you're going to set that you can't take it till the end, don't put it on your standard list. Don't put it there, Biko. Don't put it there at all. Okay? I don't know who else is there. Maybe you can tell us. I've been the only one talking. Someone actually promised they were going to come on live today. I've not seen them here, so I don't know. any of you can actually come on live as well and tell us maybe your experience of starting something and you couldn't finish it. Some other thing could be you start business and you don't have the finances to finish it. Ooh, that hurts. There's no one who wants to build a house and doesn't sit down and count the cost before going on. Everybody's building. So I also have money. Let me build. Okay? You can get into real trouble. Real shady trouble. Okay? So you don't want to do that. For everything in life, don't start what you can finish. Please, let's not do that. Who else is there? I saw someone come up, but I can't see them anymore. Okay. Yeah. Someone is asking, is there a standard formula or maybe signs to know what we can't finish so that we don't start at all? Yes, just like I said a while ago, make plans. So, relationships, what are your allowable limits? Yes. So you probably, I said we have been using the example of sex because that's what we used from the beginning. So you probably know what exactly is going to trigger your hormones. It's going to make oxytocin. Those hormones start scattering all over the place. And then you're hot like fire, burning in your bones. And you say, oh no, this is what I have to do. I need to satisfy this feeling right now. You know, there was a time I felt like that, really crazy. But I wasn't going to just let myself go for 5 minutes of pleasure. So, what's that? So yes, those kinds of things they have for you as an individual. You know the things, you know the kinds of things. I said for my own case, it has to just be in a place that is secluded, conducive, and beautiful enough. Being there with someone that I love, someone that I have a thing for. My hormones are going to start playing a fast one on me. So, if I don't want to end up having sex, I shouldn't be in that environment. I know that I shouldn't be there. Even the Bible says, do not flee the appearance of evil. Flee the appearance. So that's the appearance, right? It appears my hormones will start playing. I want to be satisfied and I might end up having sex. So don't go there. It's that serious. The truth is, sometimes we really know these things, but we just, should I say sweep it away? I'm a hardcore girl. I'm going to be able to resist. I'm not going to fall for it. Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. Good for you. Well, I learned that even the hardcore people like myself could fall for it. And when you don't finish, you're in trouble. Serious trouble. Okay. So, any other question? Or maybe someone wants to comment about starting something and not finishing. So like I said, it's official. This live session comes every Thursday. Every Thursday. And like I said, only the times are going to be changing. Sometimes it's going to be 7 p.m. Sometimes it's going to be 8 p.m. Because sometimes we have to be dealing with stuff. So the time might fluctuate. But it's Thursday, every Thursday. So who else is there? If you have a question or you have something to add or you have something to say, we'll need you to come on. Like we say, on the live session, we're doing tips on how to keep away from depression. So if you don't want to end up depressed, don't start things you can't finish. So yes, there are signs. There are things you do. And someone is asking, is this session particularly because of me? Oh my God, this is the second person who is saying that. No. It's no personal session. This has already been a topic that would have done like how many days ago? How many sessions ago, but it didn't come right because there were sessions that needed to come. So we needed to start at setting standards. And when you set standards, you'll be able to ask right questions so you don't assume. And when you don't assume, you're not going to give blank checks because you know you might end up giving blank checks that if someone signs on it, you're not going to be able to pay out the check. So after that, we can continue with other topics. And this was one of them. This is actually close to my heart because I've gotten a lot of people into trouble. I've gotten myself into trouble a lot because I started what I couldn't finish. So no, it's not personal. It's not a personal session. Fear not. Fear not. Fear not. But why would it be a personal session anyways? Okay, so I'm done with what I had to say for today. So if someone has something that they want to say, they can go ahead and say it so we can close the session. I gave a disclaimer at the beginning, and so I'm hoping that some people who came late might go back to listen to it, and then they're going to see the disclaimer. So when you take your drugs, if you've been prescribed medications for depression, take your drugs, the entire dosage. If they say it's a 1 week thing, let it be for 1 week. Don't see 2 or 3 tips that Princess put out there and then you use it, it starts working for you, you're feeling okay like after 2 days, and then you're like, oh, I'm okay, I stopped taking the drugs. No, not at all. Let your medical practitioner, let the one who is following you up tell you, okay, stop taking the drugs. But if they've given you a dosage, take it fully. I said for my malaria issue, when I used to have malaria and they give us 1 week, morning, afternoon, evening for a week, after 2 days, you're not feeling feverish anymore, you just stop taking the drugs. I used to do that all the time. And then when the malaria comes back again, it's worse this time because I didn't finish the dosage that I was given. So no, you don't want to be in that kind of scenario. So if you are actually the person who is supposed to be taking medications to get out of depression, please, as much as you're using the tips, get done with your medications as it was prescribed. Please, for the love of God, I'm begging you with all of my heart. Okay? Mine didn't need medications. Thank to God. Some people really need medications. So if you're on medications, get done with your medications. You can follow up with the tips and use them on and on, good and fine. But please, 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 don't stop. Don't. Except you're told by a medical practitioner to stop. So on my YouTube channel, here on Facebook as well, we're also talking about tips on how to get out for those who are already in depression. So we don't want many more people to get in. That's why we're doing this live session. And then on the pre-recorded, like on YouTube, on Facebook, we're doing the tips how to get out of depression. So for those who are already in, you want to get out, we have those tips on there. So you can follow me on my various social media platforms and you can be able to watch. And so we'll make it a date for next week, Thursday. Someone wants to know the topic of next week, Thursday. Do you? Do you want to know what it's going to be? Let's see. Great. Oh, said Zoe actually came on. You guys have lights now? Welcome on board. We're almost getting off while you're getting in. Better late than never, right? Oh, lights are back. Yay! Good. So what are we having? Next week, don't keep it a secret. That's it. Our topic for next week, don't keep it a secret. Don't keep it a secret. Oh, okay, so we're about leaving. I want to thank again all those who came on. Fako Book, Sir Surgeon Duke, Hot Talk Amberland, Sir Silence Atefor, Sir Gift Milton Herman, Sir Apoma Bobo Sky, Sir Eric Jimafor, Sir Zoye Mary May. Oh, those are the people who had today. If I didn't say hello to you, it's because I didn't see your name on here. You might be on. Last time, that's the same thing that happened. A lot of people were on. They were liking and clicking and sharing and all that, but I couldn't see them because they didn't make a comment. So I'm very, very grateful to all of you for always being there. That's why I'm here. If I'm talking to myself, it's not going to be funny. So I'm glad to have all of you always. Get to share on your platforms as well. You just don't know whom you might help. And like it happened today. Don't start what you can finish. You know the signs. You know the consequences. Look at them. Get to plan. Get to strategize. When you have standards, you're going to know exactly what you're going to do and not do. You're going to know exactly what your allowable limits are. You're going to know exactly where you have to be, with who you have to be with. There are just lots of things that you need to know that are connected to each other. They're kind of interconnected. Especially when it comes to relationships, they're just interconnected. You know, one of these things leads to the other and to the other and to the other. Because if you have standards, you're not going to start some things in the relationship. Some relationships, you're not even just going to start at all. Yes, you're just not even going to get into some relationships at all. Before getting hurt, before getting all that. You know, getting to fight with whether you should keep your word, you should hold up to the standards or the word of God, or you should hold on to what you believe in, or what your partner believes in, or what the next person believes in. So yes, they're all interconnected. So next week, our topic, don't keep it a secret. Somebody say, are you saying the topic is that we should not keep the topic a secret? Well, you'll find out. So get to like, share, subscribe my channel, like my Facebook page if you're enjoying whatever we're doing on here. And would also love that we can get topics from you that you want us to find out about, to do a research on and talk about. That's going to be done after this series. Because when this series is done, there's definitely going to be no live Facebook anymore, because this live Facebook is because of this series. So when this series is done, we'll probably not have Facebook Live anymore. But if you want Facebook Live to continue, then you're going to bring up the topics you want us to talk about. Yes? We are in this together. It's not a monologue, it's a dialogue. We are in this together. So I'm learning, unlearning, and relearning while I'm saying what I'm saying and you're saying what you're saying to me as well. I always say, I love you so, so very much from the depths of my heart. And I mean it. I'm not just saying it because this is what I want to say repeatedly over and over and over. It's because I mean it. But God loves you way, way more. More than you can even think or imagine. So this is where I'm saying bye-bye. See you next Thursday. Wait for it. Don't keep it a secret. Bye.